Hello and welcome back, and I know that all of you have had now, after that first game, the 15 hours you needed to listen to the podcast that Jake recommended. But we do need to fill some more time before, as the next teams go into the playrooms. So we're going to go to Who's That Pro, Come On. A potentially litigious rip-off segment.
I love this.
We just want to make sure that it's Who's That Pro,
Comma.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Who's That Pro? Come on. And in this, we have taken, and you know, we're doing this for Pyra as well to learn some of the new players in the OPL, or some of the players in the OPL, full stop. We take we take pictures of the pro players, we turn them into silhouettes, we need to guess who they are based off the exuberant personalities they no doubt exhibit.
Obviously, if you don't know what this is already, if you don't know where this game is from, you haven't lived.
We can't help you.
Because
otherwise we're going to cross another border that
Exactly.
we're not allowed to. So.
Legally, we cannot help. So, but let's get on to it before the Pro Come On company pay too much attention to this and get up our first pro. So, gentlemen, I ask you, who's that pro? Come on.
Oh.
They're doing the upside down. I reckon that's a direwolfian.
I reckon it's Udisoft.
Are you serious,
Yeah.
Bryce?
I reckon that's Udisoft.
Yeah, it
You
is.
nailed it.
Yeah.
Yes!
You absolutely
Come
nailed it.
on!
So I knew the collar was a direwolfian, so I feel like I get a third of the credit.
How did you know?
So I was like, I think, I don't know. I just guessed, sort of.
Yep.
But I was also like, who is going to do real dumb poses? And I
Yeah.
was like, Udisoft would do that. He'd be all about it.
He
Like
would
that's
be.
that's fun. There you
Absolutely
go.
smashed it.
Also,
One.
mental fortitude of a god. He got killed at minute 4 of that game and was still there minute 56, trucking away.
Yeah.
The chat thought it was Pikachu. Sorry, Maxi, you got that wrong. Next one.
Oh, fish.
Who's up? Who's that pro? Come on.
Oh, I think I know this one, but I'm not going to say it yet. Somebody else guess.
Because you've
I
got
have no idea
100%
about that
record
one.
so far, Bryce. Pyra, do you have opinions?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. I was trying to look at like the jersey, like the way it's like folding, like could I guess by the material or something? I was gonna say it's like a Chiefs player.
What if it's you?
If it's me, then well, I wonder where I've been working out because my arms are not that big.
There you go.
Is it a Direwolves player?
It is a Direwolves
Is
player.
it
Is
Corporal?
it? No, I
Not
think
Corporal.
it's the next game a Get Back.
Bryce is
Ooh.
too good at this game.
Is he really 2 for 2? now?
Yes.
What is he doing?
Bryce, how do you still have a
He's
brain after
stopping
that first game?
time.
Oh, I thought he was doing something else. No, I thought I don't know what he was doing. but, like,
Activating
that-
his stopwatch, man.
When they like silhouetted that,
Yep.
that's not the pose that I thought.
Kind
it
of
was.
look like some Ben 10 action.
Yeah.
Which, like, obviously I can say because it's not a Ben 10.
All right. Next one. I'll give you a clue straight up. It's not a Direwolf.
Oh,
Claire.
yeah,
Claire.
easy.
This
Yeah.
one's too obvious. Look at that hair. It's so obviously Claire.
Beautiful hair.
Those are really poofy pants he's wearing.
Those are...
Really not.
It's just the shirt.
What is he...
Okay, so I should have guessed that one on the jersey.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
He's making a number 6 and looking through it.
Is that what he's doing?
I have no idea.
Your number 6 is different
He
Chinese.
looks like the Monopoly.
It's like
Is it
God
a
of
Zoe
War
Does
pose?
look like the Monopoly guy.
Yeah.
That's 6.
Thanks
Oh, that's free
parking. Next up.
We had an Ace Ventura moment.
We
earlier.
did. Where Bryce told me that he'd seen Ace Ventura 2, so now I keep quoting Ace Ventura at him, and he just has no idea
I
about
missed
any of the
one.
quotes.
I missed one.
We were talking about this upstairs
Oh.
during the sort of 7.5 period when nothing was happening
Yeah.
in that game. That you have a astounding lack of pop culture knowledge when it comes to movies and TV.
Yep.
You know everything about the internet, but when it comes to movies and television, you just fall apart.
Agreed.
So we're going to
Agreed.
work on something for that
Okay.
for later on in the season.
I like that.
Next up, who's that pro? Come on.
Oh.
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, that's a tough one.
Praedeth?
Okay, it wasn't
It's
that tough.
definitely an 80
yes.
carry.
Yeah.
It has to be an 80 carry. No one else does that pose.
Yeah, that's a Lucian. That's a Praetor Lucian.
Yeah.
What gave it away for you, Jack?
It's a Lucian pose, and then
The hair?
Praedeth has very distinct ears.
Yeah. He also has like shave size and big on top.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Haircut for me.
What?
Haircut for me. It was the haircut. For
Oh,
me.
right. Okay. Right. I
Haircut
thought you
for
were
me.
like, I want that haircut.
You had a haircut, mate.
I did get a haircut today.
Yeah.
Shout out. Funny story. Quick segue. Won't take so long.
Real quick.
Only if A, it is a funny story, and B, it's not about a 15-hour podcast.
No, it's not. So I went and got my hair cut. Jules went to the same guy last week, said he did a real dodge fade, and my fade's actually lit. So Jules,
Bad luck,
cop
bud.
that.
It's a good fade. Have you duoed with Juves yet?
No, haven't. But I did play
Maintain
2 games of top lane. I lost them both, so just
Bad
proves that
luck,
I need to stick to AD carry.
Who's that pro? Come on.
Round 4? Is this 4?
1, 2, 3,
Oh.
4. This is 5.
Oh, I know that.
Yep. I mean, I will tell you that the style in this picture alone should give away who it is.
Is it
Wait.
Tommy?
Yeah, I'm thinking Ryoma.
Yeah.
It is Tommy.
Yeah.
It is Tommy.
There we go.
I think
If
the
it-
jacket gave it away too.
No, I thought it was the hair. I just picked by the hair. Literally, I'm like, who has that haircut?
Yep.
Whose hair would look like that?
All right, well, we've
And
got
I'm
one
like,
more.
Tommy
and
Lee.
it'll be interesting to see if you get this one.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know if the hair will give it away. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Who's that pro? Come on.
You setting this one up? Oh.
See?
I think I got it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think I got it.
I don't.
I don't want to guess that.
I don't.
Jake, guess.
You could show
I've
me.
got more right than you so far.
What?
It's your-
No, what? I've got them all right.
What do you mean? But I've said the last
Oh,
3.
okay. I think it's Guts.
Bryce, you're a freak. You guys are freaks. You could show me
I
silhouette.
spent many years in the OPL.
You could show me silhouettes of my family, and I'd only get a 50% right. And I've only got 2 people in my family, and one of them's a baby.
You
Well
gotta work
done.
on that, dude. You can't get that one right.
Well done, gentlemen. That was who's that pro?
We're the
Come on.
best.
Yeah, we are.
We got to figure
Alright.
out. Okay,
I dropped my pen.
here's the next round.
Whatever.
Yep.
The next round of this, we do a pro player, but then we also incorporate an aspect of the characters from the game that we're not allowed to mention that we stole this from.
Oh, so like-
you
like
get
pro
like
player
guts,
Hey. We
Plus
did not
tail.
steal anything. This
Plus
is original
tail.
content.
guts with a tail.
With
Yeah.
like a little
With
Yeah.
a spark on the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you need to guess
We would call him Fire Lizard
those
Guts.
2 things. That's what we call. It.
Definitely not Guts at you.
Ready? Th-
Absolutely not.
Ready 34 said this segment was pretty good.
Thank God we got one right. We'll take that.
Love you, buddy. Speaking of taking things, let's take the show forward
Yeah. Okay.
with the next game. It is the Gravy Boys versus Chiefs, and you can watch this on os.lolesports.com if you want to get Blue Essence, if you want to get icons, if you want to get XP, and if you want to get the other thing, emotes.
Pretty much, if you're not a fan of free stuff, watch on Twitch.
Yeah.
If you are a fan, you just got to watch.
Yeah, then you just got to watch. It is, of course, Gravitas versus Chiefs. We've got the spicy tips. First up, who have we picked? Show me now.
No. You're not allowed.
Who's that pro? Come on. No,
That's
okay.
the cue.
It's always.
Brian,
there we
you're
go.
on. Yeah.
Spicy tips ball coming up. So we all lost round 1, which means we all won as well. It's the grand equalizer.
Yep.
This is the real test for one of us.
Yeah, that's me. That is this is a test. This is going to be a test and a half. I am resilient like the dire wolves, and
No one is resilient like the dial.
Direwolf is also funny for anybody that knows like a lot of pro players personally. That game was definitely a dire wolves never give up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
100%. That is just a running gag for a long time, and they never bloody gave up, and they got the victory.
Now, of course, spicy tips at the end of spicy tips, the person who gets the least amount right obviously need to eat a chili. We've got a giant bowl of chilies here.
I got some big
Now,
chilies.
there's been some controversy. I just need to, before we get into the game, there's been some shenanigans,
Oh,
is what I'll say. Pyra has been away for the last few weeks. He, of course, has been submitting tips. We've been keeping track of the score. So far, his score is about as shit as mine. So he has to eat a whole bunch of chilies. But then Pyra comes into work today, and he's like, oh, guys, I have a stomach ulcer, and I don't think I can eat chili. And so it's like, right. So I could have claimed stomach ulcer on day 1, and I could have saved myself a lot of tears, and not
you'd have a lot of tears after the
a
chili.
milky t-shirt.
I have a doctor's note. I will have you know. I will
doctor's
show it to you.
I dodged sport with doctor's notes
Yeah.
as well. It does not mean I was incapable.
We do not
I mean, look,
accept...
I can eat it, but it will be only half as painful as if I lose to you at the end of the season.
So then, obviously, I don't want to cause any serious harm to you, and legally I have to say that. So we need to think of a different
So
punishment for him to catch up. So I'm going to put it out to the chat. We're going to have
Wait,
a
you're
think
gonna give
about
it to chat?
Yeah.
Chat's
Yeah,
chat's
okay.
going to come
Chat's
up with
full of
stuff.
real good
Alright.
ideas.
Yeah, and the best option will win themselves a Hex Tech chest and key, and I'll give one to the runner-up as well. So we need some good options in the chat or on Twitter using the hashtag IamOPL, and we'll talk about these next segment as well. All right, it's time to move on to the game. The reason that we are all here. Gravitas versus Chiefs. Jake, talk us through Gravy Boys lineup, please.
All right, cool. The nicest team in the OPL, of course, in Gravitas Tubes is going to be the Stagecoach Pabu in the top lane. The pride of Oceania. Also, I heard, for some reason that just sticks in my head. Praelis, of course, in the jungle. Harry Kang in the mid lane. And, of course, Raid and Decoy, my biggest nightmare of a bottom lane. Still keep me up at night. Bryce performing very well in the team fights last week.
Yep, certainly are, but I feel like this is definitely going to be a test for us in Gravitas. Chiefs have been performing very well as well, and this certainly, given like form, this may be an uphill battle, but I'm confident in the boys.
And of course, the boys are going up against the Chiefs.
The other boys in blue.
It's another group of 5 boys.
Coach Volt.
You used to be one of these boys.
Yes, I certainly did. A while ago, a couple of years back, I certainly was a Chief, but now Coach Volt standing behind him. He coached me, actually, so he's been there and not there in different periods. Now back in the lineup. Certainly looking successful. Swiper, big swips. The Armored Titan rocking the top in the top lane. They have their jungler. I've absolutely blanked on Only. The mid duo of Only and Claire coming over from Legacy, and the bottom lane. Quinny K, the perfect player, Raze. Almost had another Penta last week. And then Ayla, one of the best supports performing in the league right now. Also a rookie, hot popping in the offseason, looking bloody good.
And do you know the only thing these two teams have in common, Bryce?
Hit me. What is it?
They both lost to Order last week. Let's send it to the desk.
Before we go to the desk, just remember that Claire is our POV stream on Twitter, and Pyra, I believe you have some fairy bread in front of you to smash before Champion Select.
Right you are. Thank you so much, Nick Boy. So now I know the name of this wonderful
Fairy
looking
bread.
stuff. I'm going to start on it. And Rusty, why don't you go ahead and talk to me a little bit about Gravitas and Chiefs?
Sure. So, of course, as you know, this is a battle for who is the second best to Order currently in this match. Or so Spawn says, of course. No, Gravitas against Chiefs. Both teams are 1-1 right now. And a lot of this game is a battle of, who can get ahead of each other on the standings for certain. There's been some consistencies. Sorry, 2-2, not 1-1. I'm talking about last week.
Of course.
Some inconsistencies from them, some consistencies, and some very good things. The place I want to start is the Chiefs, however. They looked at their best when they beat Bombers by playing champions that they just know. They all play pocket picks. They all play what was comfortable for them. It's a good call. And they took out some of the best teams themselves. So that's a place I want to look at for the Chiefs. Can they keep the draft, successfully with just things that they like and make that work and get the victories? Or, can Gravitas just beat them with the punch here and get some good drafts themselves?
That's all very
I'm
good
having
points.
fairy bread.
No, you go ahead.
I will finish chewing, and then I will give my response.
I'm going to move my mic, though. I don't want to...
No, that's a good idea.
No, silence. You can't do that. All right. Anyway.
Okay. I've swallowed that. It's full of sugar. Let's talk a little bit about what is happening over here. Oh, my screen just went black, so I'm going to look at that. No, okay, cool. So, Gravitas are going to start out banning Aurelia and Sion. We look at the Akali and the Cassiopeia. These are all standard. It's like what we talked about last game, how not a lot has actually changed on patch 9.2 in terms of pick priority. There's the Urgot going away. So Chiefs, they've pretty much been able to step up and win big against a lot of these teams. Gravitas is like an up-and-coming squad, but they do have a lot of, they do have some big name power. So where do you think the focus is going to be in this first pick?
I mean, it's very dependent on what the bans will be. Usually, Urgot, Aatrox match each other. The fact that Sion is taken away from Swiper shows that they do want to pinch him a little bit in the top lane, see what he can go towards. Aurelia are also a top lane focus when you look at the bans. So I'm curious to see where Swiper goes here with his pick. Usually, the Chiefs will go for a high priority in the draft phase on their top laner, and that's usually where a lot of their focus goes. Of course, if you don't know Swiper from the old school times, he is a trend main of old, never allowed to play it on stage.
Well, that was just a little cheeky hover, so he's at least just flashing back to his glory days. With Lissandra locked in on Gravitas' side, we'll see the Lucian picked up by Raze.
Yeah.
Let's see if they round this one out with this support combo before the bans start coming in.
See, that's super weird, because they chose to go for Lissandra over the Lucian. So either Raid's not confident on the pick, which I highly doubt, or they really want to counter it with something and they have a plan in place.
Okay. Olaf makes another appearance. That's 2 for 2 on the day. Most likely going into the jungle. Because Chippies is not in this game, so
don't worry.
Not worrying about the top lane. Yeah, you can't eat that fast.
No.
Yeah.
It's also
I hope I'm doing it right, by the way, because I
Did you eat it with your mouth?
Yeah, because
Then you're doing it right.
I apparently butchered how you're supposed to eat meat pies.
Oh right, yeah, no, that's
What did I do wrong?
A lot of people get upset with meat pie eating because there's a traditional feeling of like you have to eat it with your hands. You know, you pick it up and
why
eat
didn't
it,
anyone
right?
tell me? I would have done that.
But you can also eat it with knife and fork. I don't
Yeah,
think that's
I was
the end of
given
the
a
world.
knife and fork. I mean, at first I thought it was just like fish trolling me, but you know, apparently everyone was very upset.
Yeah.
So I apologize on behalf of my ignorance to the entirety of Australia, Rusty.
See, now you've just
their
admitted it,
representative.
though. You were better off feigning ignorance to even being ignorant. You know what I mean? Anyway, we should
Yeah,
talk
fair
about
enough.
the draft because
Yeah, okay.
Gravitas have gone for some weird things here. Pyra?
Yeah, we got a Kindred locked in.
Yeah. Now, Kindred's in response to the Olaf, so they're matching the jungle position for sure here. I don't know if Swiper plays the Olaf, so there's a chance the flex is there. But the really early Ezreal into the Lucian as well. Globally, Ezreal's win rate into Lucian is actually quite low. It's not often seen as a free lane type of matchup, and it's super dependent on what the supports will be. So this second ban phase, I'm very curious. I'm going to keep a keen eye on where Gravitas go with their bans and where they prioritize with their picks. They may get the counter still in that lane, but I worry for them already with just the 80 carry matchup.
Yeah, it seems a little bit odd. I'm not really sure what they're going to be going for with that because you've got like these two kind of similar like dip, duck, dive, dodge, and dodge again. Champions in the form of Kindred and Ezreal, and then you've kind of got this Lissandra who can get in and out slippery like that as well. What do you want to round this out with? Like, do they need like more tank presence, more sustain? We're still looking at a support, obviously, and
Yeah.
a flex pick.
I mean, it's interesting. I don't think they need to round out a composition that's already like this with something massive or something specific because they have engage, they have damage, they have poke. Like, it's about what type of composition do you want for yourself. If you go like a Morgana, it's more defensive in laning phase. You may have a really weak lane, but then no one can pick you off in mid-game when you have the Zoe come in and hit the bubbles. They're not going to connect on targets. You know, like, it really depends on what Gravitas are looking towards as a team, and we've seen some different comps from them already in terms of styles that they want to play. So I'd like to see where they go. Oh, thank you.
We've got some more fairy bread.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Hang on.
Of course. You'd like to see where they go.
I'd like to see where they go with it,
Kennen
what they
being banned
choose.
away. So we've seen now that Silas was let through all the way till this point, where it was first picked in the last game.
Yeah.
In the first game, it was available here on patch 9.2. Let's see if Chiefs actually do pick it up here for Swipe, or if he goes for something different. We've got the Rumble locked in. Now, do you reckon that could be flexed and maybe we see the Olaf top, or is it kind of a done deal?
I feel like that's a done deal. Swiper doesn't, first of all, with Silas, Swiper doesn't strike me as someone who will pick something up straight away. He's usually a grindy type of player or ease into champions, and I don't think that champion style even necessarily is in the wheelhouse of Swiper as a player. He could, but he'd have to put some work into it.
All right, so Rumble Vladimir.
Rumble's an old pick for him as well. Old Swiper, very comfortable on the champion. Decent in laning phase, not needing the mana cost. Of course, has seen some changes here and there. And a while ago, the last change to Rumble is that his laning phase got a little bit stronger, levels 1 to 5, with extra base damage on the Q, on the Flame Spitter. And now we have a double flex for Gravitas in response. So we're not entirely sure what the Rumble will be against, but the way I see it is either way, it's just going to be a fairly neutralized experience.
Trying to keep him from getting anything done. Always a good strategy. Gets a champion that can break out. So the Alistar's locked in for Gravitas. Still have that flexible possibility to see if they switch things around before it's all over. But the last question remaining is what Chiefs are going to take for Isla.
Yep. Give me a second.
That was fantastic. You should cast like that all the time, Rusty.
No, I'd rather not personally.
Full of fairy bread. Okay, so there's the Gragas locked in.
Yeah, there is. So the Gragas is going to be locked in here. This finalizes the composition. Ayla, most likely going to be the one to pick that up as well. So we've got ourselves a support Gragas. Now, support Gragas is super good in the Alistar in the strict 1v1 matchup between them. It's really easy to match how you can pressure each other in lane. And Alistar going forwards uses his entire combo, doesn't have mobility, and you can actually focus the Alistar if you would like. Alternatively, because most Gragas run Aftershock as well, you'll be able to change your focus and just go towards the opposing person, match each other as you both engage, and Gragas actually does a little bit more damage than that of the Alistar. So in that swapped trade down in 2v2, you actually do quite well when compared directly to the Alistar. And that's why you have to bring 80 carries into this conversation, Pyra, because it is still a Lucian against an Ezreal. And I would say Lucian's going to have a pretty good experience down here in this 2v2.
I would be inclined to agree, too. Let's take a look, though, at the other matchups here between the solo lanes. You know, we talked about the neutralizing of the Rumble kind of being either or, so it will be Pabu taking on the Vladimir. But Harry is going to be on the Lissandra, and how do you factor that's going to go into the Zoe? Because we saw the same matchup last time around.
We'll get further into that, of course, as we hop onto the Rift. In just a second, we'll have Juves here to maybe answer some of these questions for us anyway, Pyra. But as it stands, a lot of flexes for the Gravitas composition, and a lot of potential strengths, but I would say fairly hard to execute in certain ways here in comparison to that of the Chiefs.
I think that's a good point here, but Gravitas has definitely been a team that's kind of come out swinging. They're a new organization coming into the OPL as well, facing off against, well, one of the oldest and best known organizations. So let's talk about the coach of that new team. We are joined by Jubes. Welcome.
Welcome to you. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Australia.
Oh, I
this
got
is the
my
first time
welcome.
I've seen you since I've been here, so welcome.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
It's been good. Yeah, you as well, man. And are you pretty happy with how the composition and the drafting shook out?
Yeah, so I think they have like pressure in lanes early on. Obviously, they have the Lucian, Olaf, and even Rumble. But I think like stage games, at least for us, have gone a little bit slower. So then, you know, we've picked some champions that do like kind of ramp up, I guess, after first base. So, you know, it's interesting to see like from our end if that will go in our favor, and I think it will. I think like we have a lot of R button champions, and R buttons are always fun and easy to execute kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is actually a fundamental conversation that I find very interesting is how practice compares to stage games, because there are some teams that play super slow on stage games. Last game's a very good example of it, right? It was a very slow game. But do you guys know, you're very conscious that when you are on stage, you'll play slower? How does that affect your practice, or does it not at all?
I think like, well, I think it's the opposite. I think when you scrim, you're trying to replicate stage. It's not when you're on stage, you try and replicate. Oh, well, you obviously pick to replicate scrims, don't get me wrong. But I think it's like, well, yeah, when you're scrimming, you're doing your absolute best to replicate stage games, whether it be like through player picks, player like, I guess, attitude towards the game, like everything else and in between is like you're trying to replicate. And I think that's the hardest thing to do in esports and League of Legends is actually replicate the nerves, the tension, the stress, the everything. But you know, you got to do what you got to do what you got to do.
The stage experience obviously being a very big shift there for the players, yeah, for sure.
So, with regards to all of that, Juice, talk to me a little bit about like what it's been like kind of bringing this team to the forefront of it, managing and coaching a new org. Like, what has that experience been for you?
Yeah, so I thought, to be honest, I thought it would be harder. I thought there would be like a lot more challenges in managing personalities and things like that. But I think a credit to the boys, like they all get along really well. They're all really good guys, really good people. And so that it makes it easy when all you have to do is focus on the gameplay, right? So all we have to do is focus on fixing this, fixing that, but it's never like fixing things that we can't control outside of the game. It's just like, yeah, it's a really good bunch of boys, real pleasant boys, and so it's been challenging, but it's also been very rewarding so far.
Absolutely, the reward is I can relate to that one, that's for certain. I got one last question for you, and it's going to be a very quick one. If you were to win this game, Jubes, what time in game do you think it'll be? Just an easy prediction if you can.
I'll go 30 minutes onwards.
30 minutes
onwards? Yeah, that's not a real hard prediction. But yeah, 30 minutes onwards, I'll say.
The late game, if you will.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us, Jubes.
I'm glad I got to see that, and I'm glad I saw him get his blue buff, because that was stressing me out like as you were commentating
Only
on
flashes
that.
for those dudes. We've seen that.
Been a lot of action there. Okay, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Best
guys.
of luck. All right, so we have seen the semblance of some action as the junglers have kind of clashed up against one another very quickly there.
And I'm not kidding when I say only flashes for those. He has done that in the OPL. There was a scuttle crab that he flashed to smite away from someone.
My kind of jungler.
Yeah, this guy knows what he wants, and he will get it.
Okay, it's good to see. I think Chiefs have definitely shown that they've been unafraid to go straight for the throat so far this split. The 3-1 start for them, is that kind of like where you expected Chiefs to be, Rusty?
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams that have gone 3-1, except for AV, for all public opinions as well, is definitely where they all should be.
But you knew, of course.
I mean, I have definitely tipped my own team through the entirety of this, and I had faith in them. But yeah, the Chiefs, they should be starting towards the top of the table. It's experienced players. They didn't change an exceptional amount, and while you could say that, well, what do you mean, Rusty? 3 of the 5 members are different, but you brought Claren only as a duo, so they're familiar with each other. The only real change in this is Ayla coming in as a new upstart player, a new rookie, and he is mechanically very gifted, climbed super high in Korean Challenger. So you look at the Chiefs, you say they should be starting strong, and they have been. But right now, and I brought this up before, a lot of the questions that we have for them is how will they go finding comfort picks if things get taken from them? There was a lot of top lane bans in this draft, and we ended up with a Rumble. And I'm curious to see how this Rumble performs, because first of all, it is still comfortable for Swiper, which is what we wanted, but it's not an often seen champion.
Yeah. A very experienced player piloting that Rumble, so we'll see how he ends up doing against Pabu, who has been kind of a name on everybody's lips for a while, especially since All-Stars. He has been very much the pride of the OPL.
And they picked the Vladimir into the Rumble here in this matchup, and you would look at that and say it's not an easy laning phase by any means. You have a lot of control early Rumble with a lot of early push, and Vladimir is someone who scales into the lane more as he gets more sustain, as he gets levels more specifically than anything else. That's the important part for him. You can see rushing the Kindle Gem, rushing the cooldown reduction to get more Qs off, very similar to what you do with levels. So importance up there on scaling for Pabu. Doesn't have a lot of priority in lane through the early clear, and that's why someone like Only on the Olaf was able to invade and look towards the Kindred. Successful or not, he's able to do those things.
Yeah. Have to see how much they actually keep that one going, yeah. Ella must have been having a little bit of fairy bread as well.
Yeah, that was real loud.
Yeah.
Just letting one rip.
Sometimes you just got it, man. You can't keep it in. That's what we have a cough button
like
for.
You can.
All right. So a lot of vision placed down here, trying to edge their way into the jungle. Only does move in.
Yeah, he's back again.
He's going to get that finishing shot off as he walks away, but Only keeps sniffing for it. A lot of pings flying.
Yeah,
in.
Only actually saw the wolf circle there, so he knows exactly where Praelis went. But Praelis is a very smart jungler.
Ooh.
He's able to get the camp uncontested. He's able to get the recall off. But there is a lot of information that the Chiefs gained through all of this, and it's super good for the Kindred. Super good that he's able to stay up as far as he can in farm with lanes not having a lot of priority. But that means the Chiefs in their lanes are just like, let's go. Easy as you'd like. Constant pressure.
Speaking of constant pressure, Harry's having a bit of trouble here up against Claire's Zoe. Both champions level 6.
And look at Only. He's moving with Ayla
yeah, he
now.
just walks right through.
Straight to the red side. They're going to find the Kindred.
Oh, forcing the fight. Ayla goes in, gets the Ignite off, and in goes Decoy, tagging his way through. But is he going to pay for it? Forced to flash away as Claire joined the fray.
Yeah, really risky from Decoy to go in and use the combo at all. The flash was used by Kindred to get out. Praelis was safe, and he comes in and has to expend his own summoner spell. So it's a 2-for-0 or 2-for-1 trade with the Ignite gone. This gives free entry for the Chiefs to start looking towards these objectives, and while it'll do a lot of damage to Only, that's what an Olaf wants.
Yeah, start to get a little bit more attack speed as it goes down. Raze is going to help turn this one up, and you know, it's only a Cloud Dragon, but that's speed for rotating. That's speed for invading if you're Only. And we would expect to see more of that as this game goes on.
So many clouds today. What's going on?
Well, it is a cloudy day outside in Sydney.
It is quite overcast. Yeah. It's nice. It was 40 degrees yesterday, and it was suddenly 20 today.
Yeah, this was like California temperature. I was like, oh, I can deal with this. This is nice.
Yeah, the temperature shift's very dangerous, though. Shifting that much in such a short amount of time does not do wonders for your... Wow, I've forgotten the word. Your immune system.
Yeah, well, that definitely can be the case. But I like it being warm, just not boiling. That's definitely.
Well, welcome to Australia.
Yeah,
you don't get a choice.
On the other hand, like I was coming from winter, so I crossed hemispheres, Rusty. So like this is nice. And when the split ends and I go back to Germany or wherever, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Now I get summer or spring.
You get summer.
So I just miss winter.
Fairy bread while you were here.
I know. It's
Speaking
great.
of, if anyone at home has more ideas for things that he should have, definitely continue to throw them at us.
Yeah, hit me up. And it doesn't have to be like the punishment food. It should be just like delicious stuff. I would very much appreciate it.
We've hit a bit of a lull, I would say, at this stage, but it's only early days in the laning phase. We're at our second buff clears. Generally, the blues and the reds are going to be up and available once again.
He's back to the scene of the crime here.
Yeah, he knows exactly where he needs to be. There's even a chance they give this one to Claire. It could be back-to-back blues, depending on how free it is, but Claire has one, and it's fairly fresh. So they'll give it to the Olaf. And at this stage, if you're Only, you take the full topside jungle. You know that Kindred's gone bot side, but there's no red buff there. And so, you know, the only thing that he can really go towards is a gank, and he's about to be spotted by a freshly placed ward. He's going to go vertically jungle towards the mark, and watch the Chiefs here. They're just going to stop him.
Instantly pinging on him. Praelis knows. So he backs away, respecting this because also Claire was moving in. Not sure if he had the vision on it or not, but Praelis is actually kind of forced on the back foot here. He's going to be denied a fair bit of jungle as this keeps going.
He's not just going to be denied jungle, he has no jungle. That is really bad for the Kindred at this stage of the game. Only's going to start pushing ahead. And not only is he going to be pushing ahead, the lanes are still controlling. The lanes are still winning. You can see the control ward line across the river right now for the Chiefs and how aggressively those wards are now pushing forwards. Gravitas are losing their foothold on this game at 9 minutes, even though there has been no kills.
Kind of feel like Gravitas are put into a definitely uncomfortable, but possibly unfamiliar situation here, trying to really just play back from the pressure that Chiefs are putting on early.
And that's the key word, it's pressure.
Yeah, I think they just haven't really had the option to do anything. But here's Swiper going for Pabu.
It's going to hurt.
He's still got his pool.
And just remember, through all of this, while I'm speaking so highly of what the Chiefs have been doing so far, the gold difference is 100 gold. You know, I'm not saying that the game is over. I'm just saying that there is a whole lot of pressure and opportunities now present themselves for the Chiefs to really hit this one home. You would expect that at this stage, with all the lane control they had, some turret platings may start to drop. There could be some gold advantages achieved. And it's all about where does Only choose to go? Or where do the Chiefs choose to make a team play? Because Swiper loves his teleports, you know, in his Rumble, he is level 6. There are places on the map you could look.
Yeah, waiting to lay down that red carpet somewhere. Now, there's a push going down bottom here. And Only is in the area, but he's not going to choose to go here because, you know, it's a quick back away from the Chiefs. It's kind of been in a holding pattern, as you've mentioned, for just a little bit. But that means there's more time for Praelis to catch up. So this isn't really hurting Gravitas all that much at the moment until Chiefs decide to make a play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everything's able to go pretty casually. Of course, a flashless Kindred is just avoiding his opponent.
All right, here comes Only. He's trying to steal jungle, but there's nothing left to take.
There's just nothing on the map, though, for the Kindred. When he's trying, like, getting vision on this red side jungle as he is doing right now, even though there's no camps, there's a control ward placed in an area that's rarely cleared. We'll see if Decoy has the big brain movements and he's able to clear that one out. Because it's very rarely touched, very rarely cleared at all.
Well, you talked about Decoy having to burn his flash earlier on.
Mid.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute because he's got it back up, and now Claire getting chunked down, and goes golden on that stopwatch. Ayla's going to knock back the cow into the tower. First blood goes the way of Only looking for Praelis inside that respite, but not for very long. Double kill for the Olaf, and one picked up for Claire on top.
And the map hits a boiling point, and just as you would expect, Chiefs with the advantage. They were there for the counterplay ready. Vision spots them coming mid, and they get the counter, they get the kills. Now 3-0, and what was 100 gold between these teams is now 2,000. It's now a Rift Herald available. It's turret platings in mid lane as well, and everything is going correct for the Chiefs here.
Love the rotation from Ayla to move his way in and help force that play. Now there's going to be a teleport onto the inner, just assuming that Chiefs will knock down at least the last of those defenses in the tower, only going to be able to solo this out. One of those other advantages of Olaf. He gets low, you just get so many more auto attacks, and wow, there's a little bit of a stolen ignite there. Harry takes the brunt of it.
Yeah, one of the few champions that loves clearing things by himself. Usually when you look at competitive league, you say if someone is sneaking a thing solo, you know, they get very low, that's super dangerous, but the lower Olaf gets, the happier he feels and the more he starts to yell because he's a Viking.
That's exactly how Vikings work. I have proof of it. Watch
really
watch
like
the show.
Like a Mad Max.
I mean, a little bit like that as well.
Or he could spray paint his face before he ults.
Oh, I thought you were going to go
Yells,
like,
witness me.
You know, more. I thought you were going to go more like Highlander with that one.
Oh, no. I'm going for
Yeah.
the spray paint my face silver approach here.
Oh, okay. Well, you would
just
definitely
so good.
you would definitely like American football games as well.
What?
A lot of spray painting on the face and yelling.
They spray
The
paint
fans do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's this team called the Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
I'm losing like all of Australia right now.
No,
I can
yeah.
feel it. But yeah, they spray paint their face silver and black.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
There's no AFL team that does anything like that.
Nah, usually we just wear a jersey, hey. Like, we just...
All right.
I don't think they're spray paint. NFL's insane, though.
Yeah.
Here we
Well,
go.
it's not
bottom.
exactly spray paint, but it looks like someone's getting sprayed on. Damage. Decoy forced to flash once again defensively, and so is Praelis. So Chiefs now turn their attention bot side. Look to shred some more turret plating.
Yeah, 2 flashes used. Now the pressure does come in bottom lane. Note that only has Herald if he chooses to summon it. It could break the turret, but he may want to save that for just breaking the mid lane. However, mid's doing perfectly fine by itself. Claire's pushing that one on his lonesome, is so far ahead in the matchup, and so they will summon a bottom lane instead. Ray's able to chunk this one out with Herald, and it's just going to be a free first turret blood. And watch the gold leaders, it's just started to rocket up once again.
Money in the bank for Rays at this point. Rift Herald is very healthy, so that means that Chiefs just have the run of this. Here's where that gold lead you were talking about starts exploding out. Ayla clears the blast cone, helps get the assist with Only. It's just another Cloud Drake, but it doesn't matter. They've been doing just fine getting this gold lead going in this game, and 14 minutes in, Rusty. Chiefs looking good.
And you know, it really feels like the Chiefs watching that last game were like, we need to fix up this OPL schedule, man. Like, that last game went for too long. We need to speed up the game, and they've got a significant lead at 14 minutes in. Only 4,000, you would often say, is not a game-breaking amount, you know, but you can feel that lead. You can feel the control of the map. You can feel the momentum there for the Chiefs. Everything's going so right for them. And so much of this lead is through the carry positions as well. You look at mid, you look at AD carry, you look at the gold differences between them. That is so harsh.
And the gold only tells, yeah, like a bit of that story you were saying. It's just the decision-making from Chiefs. The fact that they've chosen to go in, that the bot side plays, they forced Gravitas to dance to their beat. They're the ones that are executing these plays. Now they've gone for this swap up to the top side. Raid's obviously already here, and so is Ayla, or so is Decoy, I should say, but, you know, they're down some summoner spells.
We are at a point in the game for Raid specifically. He's got the Iceborne Gauntlet done. He's almost finished his Manamune. Once that is done, he is very hard to push into because he has a lot of wave clear with just Q spamming. So it's not the safest, but it is very safe for wave clear. You can plan him in a lane like mid and have a pretty good time extending the duration of this game, holding on for a while. That could be what Gravitas need, as I feel like they definitely need something going their way in this game right now.
Well, if they can pin their hopes on Raid, maybe something can happen. They've had different heroes step up over different games, too.
Redemption.
Yeah.
You can't get allies spells used, can you?
With, what? No?
Zoe's Spell Thief.
Oh, don't think so.
Because she's getting a lot of redemptions, and I looked immediately at Olaf's items and was like, did he?
Nope. Ooh, teleport. They're going for the dive here up towards the top. Decoy's going to be left out for dead. No way he survives that one. And Swiper, knowing that, lays down an ultimate. Claire's going to chunk out Praelus. And it's only Raid left to tell the tale here. That's going to be another tower knockdown. Chiefs extending their gold lead to about 5,000 and counting here.
Yeah, it just feels all too easy for the Chiefs right now. No challenges on the Rift currently. They're going to clear the vision. They're going to continue to push the lanes. Meanwhile, Zoe still running rampant when she gets one Q off. Somebody dies. That's how far ahead they are becoming. And that's only going to creep further and further up unless something changes on this map. And it's fine to have a scaling composition. Pabu has hit a point in the game where he's feeling much more comfortable. He's got 160 CS at 16 minutes. That's a big Vladimir. He's level 11 or level 12, so he's got 2 points in his ult. That's a lot of damage. They've got these things there, but the Chiefs aren't giving them a single opportunity.
No, they keep them pressured constantly. Every single time that you think that they want to make a play, there's just not a chance. And here's the replay. Here's the start of it. It all looks very, very safe.
No, this is live.
Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. I was like, wait a minute. The tower's gone. But I'm still talking about it like it's a replay. I got you, baby. But either way, yeah, Chiefs have just been keeping this pressure on constantly. And even though there's a chance to make these plays, look at it yet again. Pabu knows there's no way he can go in on a Swiper because the rest of the Chiefs are not too far behind. He's going to force a defensive pull. Only chuck the axe out, instantly goes for the Kindred. There's the Lambs Respite down on Praelus and knocked back into the Flame Spitter.
And easy as you'd like, Praelus goes down. Pabu doesn't have a lot left for him, no ultimate, but they're still looking aggressively here. Yeah, they know they need something.
Decoy's arrived and in goes Harry. Is it enough damage? He puts himself in the Frozen Tomb to try and stop it. Swiper chunked almost down to 0, but DK can't quite close the gap on him. And it's going to be Claire getting the revenge kill on the opposite side once again. Chiefs out executing onto Gravitas.
And more kills go over. Now 3 dead, maybe 4.
Raze isn't even in this fight. Oh. What a huge chunk of damage. Claire is going wild, and he's got a 19 stack.
That's a whole lot of Medjais.
On his Medjais. Look at, Raze isn't in this fight. He's just topside. He's splitting. He's doing the old Reckless special.
That's how far ahead they are. They don't need 5 people. I didn't even know that Raze was top lane. They just looked so commanding, and it was no kills available. The Chiefs do not lose a single member as close as Swiper was to dying. There was no Ignite for Decoy, and maybe they got a trade there, but this is almost the perfect game coming out right now.
I was about to say, if they end this, there's no towers taken by Gravitas, there's no kills. This could be a perfect game.
Including Herald, which isn't even on your scoreboard.
Yeah.
We're going to have to continue to watch that one as the game goes, because there's a lot at stake for the Chiefs, and if they want to continue, if they recognize that it could be a perfect game, some players do that.
Yeah, best of ones. We've seen some strange things for sure. But
we've seen Nexus dives as well. That's where they usually lose their perfect games.
Yep. Until you realize, wait a second. Can we just talk about this build from Claire? And I'm not talking about the
spooky ghosts.
I like the spooky ghosts.
Why do you like the spooky ghosts, Pyro?
Because they're spooky, and they make you go fast and make other people go slow.
That is all correct information.
Yeah. It's what's not to like.
They're also very good for face checking.
Yes. You don't have to face check. You yourself can send your spooky minions to make it happen.
And when you slow them down using jungle terrain as your primary area of focus, it's actually very easy to hit the bubble afterwards. It checks for you. You get to then use terrain as the buffer. And because you use terrain as Zoe super well, you actually get the 2-for-1 there. And I like the item, but I think only as a snowballing item choice, or if your composition very specifically wants to fight in enclosed places like the jungle. Their composition is very good for that. When you see a Rumble, you see a Lucian as well. They've got a lot of line skill shots, and Zoe's able to add to that with her spooky ghost.
And Claire has been fantastic at actually lining and sinking these shots. That's a big part of why he's 5-0 in this game. And it does speak to the playstyle of, you know, let's go more. That's why you see that build with the Spooky Ghost and the Medjai's at 19 stacks. Now they're going to be going on to the inner turret, but Decoy goes in for the two-man knock-up. Redemption coming through, but is this going to be the turn of luck for Gravitas? No, they walk away.
This isn't going to be good. It could turn around on its head completely here. It's a good push back from Gravitas, but they're not able to follow with kills. The flash used by Decoy, not too bad, but it doesn't look like he's gone towards Hex Flash at all.
No, he's actually just been forced to wait on the cooldown to come
wonder
back
what
up.
his secondary tree is.
I'll get a chance to ask him later, but unfortunately it means he's not going to be able to stop this push here. The rest of Gravitas might be able to. The rest of Chiefs are all grouped up this time. No splitting for Raze, but they keep worrying away at this turret.
Yeah, lots of respect given, though, by the Chiefs. You know, Zoe doesn't have a lot of health and has a Medjai, so you don't want to die to a stray Ezreal ultimate. That much should be for certain. But they can always look for picks. And I think that's what you use to open the door here for the Chiefs. If a bubble connects, you're using, once again, the jungle. You can see where their control wards are. It's around the Baron. Use this time to reset. Keep Gravitas in mid. Don't even let them clear the wards and get extras yourself. You will always win that war of attrition when you start setting yourself up for the objective. I think that's where they're going to go now, Chiefs. They'll continue to look towards Baron, and they'll never need to hit it to end this game. Also, for Claire, while we're going on his build, I think he wanted a Zonias and was like, I can afford a Twin Ghosts. I may as well get one.
Yeah, now he gets the Zonias later. He's flush for cash at this point. So would anyone be if they actually managed to take him down, but he's been quite slippery this game, as are the rest of Chiefs.
And there's a lot of shutdowns, you're right.
Oh, hello! There's the knockup once again for Decoy, but there's no follow-up damage, so he's just forced to tank it all up, and that's kill number 6 for Claire.
And not very tanky. Hayri.
Oh boy, he goes in. It's just one after another. The hits keep on coming. Hayri, nowhere for him to go as he tries to get a deletion off onto Claire, but not got nearly enough damage. True Shot Barrage clips onto Ayla. And I think this is about time for the Baron.
I would say this is a very good moment for the Chiefs to run over to the Baron. 2 people dead from Gravitas. Only 10 seconds left on the death timer for Decoy. You've got to blade the Ruin King on the Lucian, so they do this fairly quickly. And Zoe is playing goalkeeper as well. No one's going to pass through the jungle and get to them at all. Ezreal, no ulti. It's a free objective.
Now it looks like Pabu's going to try and stop the perfect game from happening, but Swiper even takes out Praelis and just an isolated kill here. Okay, so 1 tower granted by Gravitas, but what they give up for it is a lot. This game is very close to over, Rusty.
Yeah, there comes a point where you're like, this game is over until determined otherwise by the Chiefs. Like, it requires... This is the type of game where you say it doesn't just require a single mistake, it requires multiple mistakes from the Chiefs. Costly mistakes. They've got 3 shutdowns of gold on their team right now. It
All
will
upwards
require
of 600.
Claire dying probably twice. Only once and Raze once, and that needs to go on to carries. They need a win condition, Gravitas, and I feel like those are the conditions with which it happens, but I mean, how do they get any of that in the first place is the question.
Now, Juice did predict this game was going to go over 30 minutes.
He said they win over 30, yeah.
Went over 30. Was that if they win? I can't remember now.
The question was, like, what is the win condition effectively? What time in the game?
Ah, okay.
And he said after 30 minutes.
For either
and that's fair, right? Like, the composition that Gravitas have got scales very well. Vladimir for team fighting. Lyssandra's very good as well, and Ezreal's gone for the double tier build. So
I mean, if they can slow the game down immensely,
Yes.
there's definitely that chance, but they need a lot of time to get back and to be relevant again.
Hey,
and all those things you said have to happen.
Chiefs are playing very respectfully. They are slowing down to try and win this one as clean as they can. They don't want to give a kill over, it seems, or at least you get that feeling. And the Chiefs boys right now, that is time that will be bought by Gravitas. That's the only thing you can really look towards and say that will help them a lot.
Well, it doesn't seem like they're going to get nearly enough of it, though, as Chiefs are still taking the minion with the Baron buff advantage all the way down the lane. Raze on the bottom side. Raze has been alone a lot this game, but he's had absolutely no trouble because of all the attention that the rest of Chiefs have been demanding.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone can even duel him 1v1, though. You can see the 3 items he's got. Rush the Moor as his 3rd, so very hard to kill as his Lucian. That could be death if they commit as well. Jeez, that does a lot as just a bubble.
Yep. Very deadly here. And as soon as you see that Zoe pop up, you gotta immediately back away and respect it. Praylis still getting some free shots here. The Spooky Ghost coming through. Meanwhile,
Swiper just gets one.
Swiper on the top.
That's not going to stop either, Pyro. They're going to keep pushing that top lane. Swiper has so much pressure. He owns the base of Gravitas.
And you could see Gravitas were trying to go for the Miracle fight, but it just turned away on them. Hyrie is going to go down as Swiper picks him up on the equalizer shot, and the rest of Chiefs Esports Club tapping their way in to end this one right here, right now. Pabu is not able to make his escape, and with the minions streaming in, this is all she wrote at 25 minutes. Chiefs will take win number 4.
A dominant victory here for the Chiefs if they can get this Nexus down. They're going to look for some damage first, but that is a commanding game.
Flashing, forcing it all the way back into Fountain. They'll knock Decoy back and end the game. Well played by Chiefs. That was an absolute crusher.
I feel like this constitutes under the definitions of shellacking by Spawn, so I would say that is absolutely a shellacking here for the Chiefs squad.
All right.
Clean victory. There's no other way to explain it. That was squeaky.
Yeah, I don't really think you can find any sort of fault there. I mean, if anything, they let one tower fall for the perfect game to be denied. So you know, that's like that's like what? Is S minus?
Oh, it's still an S plus mark, believe me.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's going to be pretty impressive to see how much more they can do. But that was such a great play going forward here from Chiefs to just pick up that crucial win. They needed to execute well. Gravitas are a team that have shown some impressive play. Yeah. But they made that team look like they had no options.
And for me, I look at a game like this, and I think a lot of it does come back to the draft. The thing that stands out is that there was a lot of scaling, but there wasn't a strict or clear win condition, above all else. I didn't look at one thing in the team and say, this is where they win the early game. I think I looked at it more and I was like, this is how they get to mid-game. And because they lose the early game control so hard, and it's as simple as an extra ward place, an extra bit of momentum or vision for the Chiefs, they capitalize on that early game, they control the mid game, and then there was never a scaling available for Gravitas.
Yeah, we were talking about maybe Pabu's levels could come in handy, but it was scaling being denied, but more importantly, playmaking being denied. There was no opportunity for anyone from Gravitas to really go in and make that play. And you could see them forcing. Every single time we had the Alistair going in, trying to flash, headbutt, pulverize, and there was no way for them to follow up because it was just it was speedy all over the place, slipping in and out of danger over Chiefs.
And we saw exactly what the Gragas does into the Alistar as well, right? You engage, he just ults you under the turret, and a level 6 Alistar, while he has ult, isn't all that tanky and does still die.
Yeah, seems an open and shut case, but I still want to hear from the boys on the couch, so why don't you guys take it away?
Compared to the last game, it certainly was open and shut, and Rusty touched on it. But Jake, it all started with the draft for you.
Yeah, and I think actually, like it's real easy to tear down people's drafts, and I think that I'm not going to do that. I am a changed man, bro. I want to compliment Chiefs on their draft because all of a sudden, like the Chiefs are a team that really struggles to generate priority through their top lane. Swiper plays a lot of tanks.
Yep.
The one champion he has that generates a ton of priority is Rumble. Now, the reason Kindred beats Olaf is because Kindred can find Olaf at Red Smite and kill him for a very long time. Up until Olaf has like 2.5, probably even then, like if they're even, you would still expect Kindred to win. But unfortunately, the Kindred had no lanes to play around their push because everyone was just getting pushed in. So what that meant is that Olaf, who's the quickest jungler in the game, just put his jungle on power farm. And just time and time again was able to invade. And I think that that's a good example of like teams and players in particular always want to fight for their own counter pick. But I always argue, like, how does your pick fit into the team and how are we going to help you? And that's one of those games that Olaf was a very good pick, even into an individual, non-favorable matchup because of how the Chiefs set only up for success. And that just generated them this huge tempo.
Because you saw literally, like, they had Rumble, Swiper rotating down, like they're placing vision in topside jungle. He's finding Kindred on blue buff very early. Nothing happened. Praylis gets the blue buff, walks away, walks bottom side, but because mid has prio, then like he goes bottom side, his flash gets forced over the wall, Deco goes in, he burns his flash as well. All of a sudden, with no summoners in any lane, Rumble has prio top when there was like top counter pick available, and then like just as you said, Olaf is just running around, and they keep tabs on Kindred the entire game, and like it was open and shut, like you said.
Yeah, and that's what I want to build to, right? What this idea of priority is, because I feel like everyone says priority, and like people do a really bad job of explaining it. So priority is a resource in League of Legends. So you get to use priority, and what priority generally means is you get to make the first move without losing anything. So anyone in League of Legends can make the first move. If I'm getting destroyed bottom lane, I can just walk top, but I'm going to lose experience, gold off the turret, waves, all these things, right?
However, from winning, I can push the wave before you can even hit it, keep 6 minions healthy, take all this golden experience, recall, and move while you're still killing the minions.
Yeah.
So I buy myself 8 or 9 seconds of priority.
Yeah.
Or I can move into the river with my priority. And what that meant is when Decoy was looking for creative plays, and Rusty mentioned the first one, the roam onto mid lane, because Ayla had so much more priority, he could match the play on what is generally a very good roam from
Ali
Alistar.
first move, and then like Chiefs a second to the play, Gragas E-flash like Rusty hit on, and like counter that, Ali gets thrown into turret, and then...
And that's what a good team looks like, right? So the Chiefs use all these resources, all these pushing lane, all these priorities, and they just execute a flawless game. And, you know, that's one of those games as Gravitas, you're probably feeling very frustrated. No kills, no like proactive moves.
Yeah, it was almost,
they got strangled out.
It was almost a perfect game. There was one when I think the Chiefs were doing something on top side of the map, and Vlad just like solo hit bot turret, like because there was no counter trade really available. And it was the single turret, because there were no kills, that like turned around like almost a perfect game. Yeah.
And Chiefs, unfortunately, like still, even with Bombers, Mammoth, like Avant, all the new teams, they're still the scariest team with the lead in the league.
Yeah.
They think close games so easily.
Yeah, they have had the most decisive wins.
Yep.
I think like Bombers have had a fairly close game versus Mammoth. That was a strong closeout, like eventually. But Chiefs have had the most smackdowns, I think.
And it's so interesting, right? Because from both of our ends, I coached Swiper, you played with Swiper. He was never the most vocal member on teams.
Yeah.
And since everyone's left, I kind of like, the big question I had was like, who leads this roster?
Yeah.
And Swiper's just turned into this shot caller where like, he kind of like jovially says it. Like you listen to the recordings they put out and he's like swearing, he's laughing, he's having a good time. But he's just so decisive in his calls. He's like, if they step up here, like I'm going, and Claire joins in, and they've just got this great system of communication that seems to work from ahead.
Because it's also stylistically, Swiper is the best role player that has ever existed in OPL, like by far. Like he by no means has the biggest champion pool, and by no means like has the best top lane mechanics or anything like that, but he is the guy that is just constantly like, he will pick Sion for the boys, he will pick tanks. If he gets, like his champ pool was pinched this game. There's no Aatrox, there's no Urgot. He's blinded Sion in like, I think 3 of their games so far. And he had no access to that, goes to Rumble, but is still like the same thing.
Yep.
The thing I love, and to take it a step back from the actual game, I just want to say, having been in rooms with both of you when your teams are playing, Jake takes things in a very dark way. Like, when things go bad in order, Jake is very, like, things are very bad, and, like stomping and sort of, like, internal frustration. Bryce begins to just laugh. And you, like...
I'm positive Paul, man.
You have such a positive attitude. Like, even when you're getting spanked harder than my mum spanked me when I ate her entire bottle of echinacea when I was 11.
I have no idea what that is, by the way.
You just have the most positive attitude going into this rift.
Thanks, bud.
In saying that, what I will say is like, this game in particular for Gravitas, and now I will put my doom and gloom hat on, and like you can disagree if you want. Like their loss against Order, there were some positives to take out of that. There were some big learnings. I think there was some draft learnings from the Sejuani Galio game that I memed a little bit and have continued to meme for the last 2 weeks. There was very little to take out of that game from Gravitas for me. That's one of those hard ones where it's probably more of a conversation of, you know, what were we trying to do? And now look, let's talk about those windows.
Yep.
Because as far as proactive plays goes, there was one in the mid lane and then like just a whole lot of...
there was never... Like Rusty talked about it a little bit on the desk in terms of like, if this gets to 3 items, that is like you have Vlad, you have Liz, you have Ali, you have Force, but there was no way to get there. And also anytime we saw an engage, it was disjointed. It was one person goes in, followed by something else. Like it's Ali, and then it's Lysandra, and then it's Vladimir, rather than like all 3 at the same time.
Brilliant. Well, we are going to go to a break right now, and we are going to be coming up with Bombers versus AV next.